everyone has that extra cup of coffee in the morning. It's just going to be a little bit more expensive now, I'm afraid to say. When you look at it, a lot of the supply issues, I guess, are being forecast because we've had climate issues across the board with a lot of soft commodities, and that will ensure the supply is limited in some areas. It's just not sugar, it's just not coffee, it's also wheat, it's also canola, it's also horticultural products. A lot of these products have been affected by extreme climate issues, and it will take time for this gap in production to be filled.
I mean, as we're watching around the world, even now, floods, drought, wildfires, or bushfires as we call them here, how much of this is going to be potentially because of climate change, something that we're going to have much more frequently, so therefore we're going to see some of these wild swings happen more often in the soft commodity patch, Jono?
Yeah, absolutely, Amanda. Look, when you look at it, there's a lot of climate issues, and I think this the recent last 2 to 3 months have highlighted this need to try and find solutions and innovate. But when you actually look at some of the production areas, particularly in Canada, where we're having another drought similar to 2002, we're expected yields to be dropped to as low as 20% than normal. Now, that has a lot of ramifications across the board in terms of whether it's inflation, just price security, community security. So really, when it's a real telling point when we're seeing these extreme weather events occurring, and now they're being translated into the price of the commodities, for the things that we need, like wheat, coffee, just the usual things will all be going higher as a result of these supply shortages.
Right, Jonathan, good morning. Thank you for joining in this conversation. Just broadening out the discussion aside of soft commodities, do you think, what's happening with generally food prices is staring at us in the face to suggest that there's a food crisis, so to speak, in the offing?
Well, look, I think it's very interesting that you say that. Food security is at the top of everyone's agenda. And then when you look at sort of major producers, and I take Canada or Australia or Canada, for example, Canada, for instance, was exported 60% of the canola trade. Now, it's probably this year going to be a net importer of canola. So when you see that, you're actually seeing that these climate issues are affecting that supply. Food security is not a sure bet that we always used to think it was. And we're seeing such extreme climate events occurring around the world and records happening every year. So we do have an issue. And I think it's really going to be portrayed in the lack of supply in some of the commodities on the shelf.